Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I know that this video is a little bit different than like what I normally do on my channel, just because, you know, for the most part I just do vlogs, but every once in a while I like to check in and just do like a little Q&A or just a little how I'm feeling type video. So that's exactly what we are going to be doing today. I haven't done one of these. It's been like a long time, and I feel like my life is just so ever changing that so much has changed since the last time I did a Q&A, which I'm not actually totally sure when it was, but I know I was still living in Florida. So even just that alone is a big change. And I feel like it's funny because a lot of people even now will be like, oh, like where in Florida did you live? And I realize like they just found me, and or I'll mention like, oh, like I'm originally from New Hampshire, I was born and raised in New Hampshire, and they're like, wait, what? I thought you were from Florida. And it's like, no, I lived in Florida for 3 years, but I'm from New Hampshire. Like, I just feel like I need to do a whole just check-in. So I did ask you guys over on Instagram to send in your questions. A lot of questions were obviously about like moving and living in LA since I moved here and like all that stuff. So I will be answering a bunch of those questions for you. But I figured before we get started, I just want to like reintroduce myself, because I feel like I don't ever really do this. I just assume that everyone who watches all my videos just automatically knows everything about me, and it's just sort of funny because like as my audience continues to grow and grow and grow, like I still have the people that have been watching me forever, but I do have so many new faces that just are kind of like, wait, what? And I'm like, I'll say something in a video and people will come and be like, oh, I didn't know this, or that, or like, why didn't you do this, or that? And if you haven't been watching me for a long time, you probably would be really confused. It's just like a lot in my life. So let me just really quickly reintroduce myself. So obviously my name is Soph, and I am originally from New Hampshire, born and raised in New Hampshire. I moved to Florida in 2020, or was it 2019? No, 2020. And I lived there, like I said, for 3 years. I spent the summer of 2020 half in Tampa, then the end of the summer in Delray Beach, and then I lived a year in Boynton Beach, and then I lived a year in West Palm Beach, and then I lived a year in Tampa. So that was my extent of living in Florida. And then just recently, this past summer, I moved from Tampa, Florida to LA, and it's been a really big move, but it's been interesting. It's been an interesting few months. I also have I was gonna say puppy, he's not a puppy anymore, I mean he's one. I have a dog, an Italian Greyhound named Augie, and he's my baby, and him and I have gone through the ringer with our moves together, and he's a trooper, so that has been really fun too. But you guys saw me get him last year, and it's just so crazy how much of my life I've shared, because when I started social media I was 20 and I was in college and then COVID happened and one thing led to another, and I moved to Florida for school and for dance, and you guys watched me, you know, be a college dancer and then leave college dance and then take on social media full time, and you've watched my past relationships, and you've watched me grow, and you've watched me heal from breakups, and you've watched me get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and watched me figure that out. Like, I've just shared so much of my life, and I'm gonna obviously continue to share it, but that's like a very brief synopsis. I'm 24 now. June 3rd is my birthday. I'm a Gemini, and that's a little very short summary of me. I'm a dancer, even though I don't actively dance anymore. I grew up dancing. I danced in college, and social media is my full-time job, but I do have a degree in psychology. That's that. Okay, let's move on to some questions, shall we? So I'm gonna answer this question first because I did get a lot of questions like involving LA, and it just says, what do you love most about LA? And this is interesting because since I moved to LA, I have left a couple times to go on trips. Like I went to, literally back to Orlando to go to Disney. And where else have I gone? I went to New York City, and both times I left, I just found myself being like, wow, I really miss LA because it has everything. It has amazing food and every kind of food you could think of, and it's so good. It has every grocery store you could think of. There's like anything you need. There's probably a store, or there's somewhere you can order it where it can be to you very quickly. Like it's everything is here, and I think that's what I really have grown to love about it. Like if I need a health food store, easy. If I need a specific store for like if I'm cooking like an Indian food dish or something, there's like markets specifically for that, or there's just so much here. There's so many restaurants. If I'm craving a type of food, a million right around the corner. Like there is just so much. And even in New York City, I mean, I only visited for a week, and I mean I've been a few times, but I'm sure if you live there it's different and you get to explore like more and more. But personally, even compared to New York, I just feel like LA is just so much. There's just so much here, and it's nice because while it is a city, it's still a drivable city, and the traffic is horrible, but not as bad as New York. And it's just, honestly, I just like how everything is quick. I mean, not necessarily quick because there is traffic, but like everything is right around the corner pretty much. Like I feel like no matter where you're going in LA, it's either 8 minutes, 20 minutes, or 45 minutes, and it's nowhere in between. And it's just like everything is here, and I think that's what I've really grown to love, especially with like stores, especially having grown up in New Hampshire and then having lived in like South Florida. Like other than Miami, there's not really places where there's all those like stores you see in LA and New York. Like LA just has every store, like all these online stores that I've shopped at for years and years. There's now in-person stores, and there's just everything here. And I think that's what I've really grown to love about it. It's just like if you need or want something, you can find a place that has it, and it's just really cool. Next question is sort of also about the same like realm of moving and just living in LA. It says, do you miss Florida? Which apartment do you like better, the one in LA or Florida? My coffee maker is cleaning itself right now. Okay, so short answer, do I miss Florida? Yes. I especially miss my friends, and I miss how it's always warm, and I miss just the familiarity of it, and like I miss Publix, and like just like the things that become home to you. Like I miss it. It became home. And I felt that way about New Hampshire when I first moved. I mean, even now, like I go back to New Hampshire, it still feels homey. It always will. It was home, it feels homey, and I just know it so well. And I learned to know Florida so well. So do I miss it? Yes. Specifically my friends. It is very, 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 very hard being away from my best friends. I have a best friend in New Hampshire, and I have some best friends in Florida, and it's hard being across the country from them, and it never gets easier. I will say though, I think I'm a very good long distance friend. Me and Lauren, my best friend from my hometown in New Hampshire, we've been friends since we were 11, and I haven't lived in New Hampshire since we were 20, so it's been like 4 years, and we're still just as good of best friends as we always have been, except we just don't get to physically hang out a lot. But she's still like my number one and always will be. And so I just like, it really is hard being far from them. And yeah, I do miss Florida. I think though I can still miss Florida while appreciating my life here in LA and also liking LA. Like I don't think you have to either like love or hate one place. Like I don't think you have to choose one place that you like to live. Do I like living in LA right now? Yes. Do I miss Florida, and do I miss my friends in Florida? Yes. Did I like living in Florida? Yes. Like there's no like, I hate this place, I like this place. I like both. And I think my heart is still in Florida because everyone I love is there, you know? And Florida, saw the worst of me. Florida is where I was well, actually I was in New Hampshire when I was diagnosed, but Florida is where I lived when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Florida is where I started and ended my past relationship. Florida is where I healed from my past relationship. Florida is where I learned how to live as an adult. Florida is where I lived on my own for the first time. Like, Florida has just, it is such an influential place to me because it's where so many massive life changes happened. So yes, I miss Florida, but I also love living in LA. This question though, which apartment do you like better, the one in LA or the one in Florida? 100% the one in Florida. I've had horrible experiences at this apartment so far, and I've only been here a few months. I love the kitchen. I think it's amazing. And like, I mean, overall, like, I love how I decorated it. It does feel really homey. Like, I love my bathroom mirror, how it's light up. There's a lot of things I do love about this apartment. It's pretty quiet considering where it's located. Like, it's very quiet, but it's really small, which obviously I knew, but like the closet situation's worse than I thought it would be. Like, it's really small in here. The rent is insane. It's double what I paid for my last place, half the size. I had a roach situation. When I moved in, my dishwasher was broken. My dryer door was broke. Like, I mean, not my dryer door, my like washroom closet. What is it called? The little closet with my washer and dryer, that door was broken. My washer smells so bad, like mold. My kitchen sink just smells really bad. When I turned on my oven for the first time, plastic melted. So apparently there was plastic in my oven. I guess I should have checked, but I just didn't expect there to be plastic in my brand new, or in the oven of my apartment. This place isn't brand new, but my, like, things are just like broken and dirty. I made the mistake of looking under my stove. It's disgusting under there. It's just not the best apartment, especially for what I pay. The lighting is not nearly as good as my other apartment. I will say, for filming, it's great. Like, the lighting is fine for filming. However, like, the natural light is not as good in this apartment than my last apartment. But my last apartment in Florida was beautiful. It was huge. Like, I don't even think that my vlogs or anything ever did it justice. Like, that place was huge. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it was massive, you guys. Like, the ceilings were so high, and the living room was big, the kitchen was big, both rooms were big, the bathrooms were big. Like, it was really big. The lighting was beautiful. I had a corner unit facing the pool, so the lighting was just unreal. Like, that place was beautiful. It was so homey. I loved that apartment. My camera just died, so if the angle or me is a little bit different, that's why. But yeah, I think it will forever be one of my favorite apartments. It's gonna be hard to beat. It was beautiful. It was really decently priced, and I really loved that apartment. But I do like this apartment. Like, don't get me wrong. I think if I hadn't lived in that last apartment, I would like this place even more, but it doesn't compare. It really doesn't. But again, that's not to say I don't like it. Like, I do. It's just a new experience, and I'm trying my best not to compare so much. Like, yes, my apartment in Tampa was beautiful, but that doesn't mean that I don't like living here. And just because the lighting was better in one place, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but this place feels homey, and that's all that matters to me. So is there a lot of things that I'm unhappy about this place? Yes. But I'm tied into a lease. What am I gonna do about it? And I love the location. Love the location. And I really like how I decorated it. And it feels really homey, and I do really like my kitchen. So I love it too. Next question is, any recs for partners of type 1 diabetics to support and help if it's needed? My boyfriend has type 1 and I'm trying to learn. I love this question because as a type 1 diabetic, like, I just feel like it's very common for us to feel like a burden or like embarrassed or ashamed. And at least for me, when it comes to like dating and everything, I feel a sense of guilt, or I think embarrassment is a good word too, but it's just like, I often feel like, I know they don't care, but I think they'd probably like it better or like me better if I didn't have type 1 diabetes. And I think that mindset is important to know if you are dating someone with type 1 diabetes, because I don't think they will necessarily share that information, or maybe they will, but I personally don't like, I feel that way every day, but every day I'm not bringing it up. Like, I think once in a while it comes up, but they are going to feel alone. They're going to feel ashamed. They're going to feel like a burden. And so I think the best thing you can do for them is like, just be there. Like, never, I think also this is super important, like, they can take care of themselves. You don't need to baby them or babysit them or shame them or give them crap for eating this or that, or like maybe they're consistently giving themselves too much insulin and having all these insane low blood sugars, and you know, like, you're probably taking too much insulin. Like, maybe just let them figure that out on their own, because at least for me, like, I don't need someone telling me how to live with my disease. I'll go to my doctor if I need help. And even if you're being kind and you think like, I think really all they need is to lower their dose of insulin, like, I think in a lot of cases it might just kind of make them feel ashamed or make them feel like incapable of taking care of themselves. I know everyone's super different, but I think me personally, if someone was like, you're taking too much insulin, I would be like, okay, but one time I ate this and it was the perfect amount of insulin, or it wasn't enough insulin, so how come? It's just, it gets, type 1 diabetes is very confusing, and sometimes, at least for me personally, my experience is when people put in their 2 cents, even if they're maybe onto something, I just find it really aggravating, and honestly, I get a little bit like frustrated, but also ashamed, like, how come they're able to think of it as simply as that and I'm not? I don't know. It's very complex. So I think your best bet is just don't try to be their doctor. Don't try to be their mom. Don't try to be them and take care of them for them. Just be supportive. If they're having a low blood sugar, get them their sugar for them, or offer at the very least, or be like, how are you feeling? Or just sit there with them in silence. Just be of support. Or if you see, like, say they wear a Dexcom and they share their Dexcom data with you, probably don't say anything if their blood sugar is high. Like, if it's super low, maybe like, hey, you okay? I see your blood sugar is low. But don't be like, oh my God, are you good? Or don't say anything like, your blood sugar is so high, like, what's going on? Anything like that. Like, they have type 1 diabetes, their blood sugar is gonna be high sometimes. And again, like, yeah, the blood sugar is gonna be low sometimes too, and those can be more like immediately dangerous. So checking in on them, like, hey, are you feeling okay? I see your blood sugar's low. Just checking in, making them feel seen. I also think, like, if you're gonna date someone with type 1 diabetes, like, it does come along with things that aren't conventional. And I think if you choose to date someone with type 1 diabetes, you should know that you're also taking on a role of being an unconventional support system. So that might include getting a call in the middle of the night because their blood sugar is super low and they're afraid. Like, that happened to me recently. I had to call my girlfriend because I live alone and my blood sugar was super low and I felt like I was about to pass out and I was very scared, and I was afraid something bad was gonna happen and no one was gonna know. And so I gave her a call in the middle of the night and we just sat there in silence, and when it was too silent for too long, she was like, hey, are you okay? But like, that's something that, you know, a normal day-to-day couple isn't gonna have to deal with. But if you're choosing to date someone with type 1 diabetes, that comes along with it. And it means so much, like, it really does, just being there and like taking the call and not making them feel bad for it. And especially, I think reassurance is important. Like, hey, it's not a burden. Like, it doesn't bother me you called me. Just a reminder, words of affirmation, just being like, it doesn't bother me. Like, it's okay, I'm here. Just be sweet to them. And I think also, like, be really encouraging for them to eat what they want and do what they want. Just like, don't ever hold them back from doing anything, even if you're like, oh God, we're about to have a night of so many high blood sugar alerts because they're about to eat this food. Like, maybe you know that, but they know it too, but they want to enjoy their time. And so I think just encouraging them to live their life and just be supportive. And I think also just like cute little gestures, like, for example, my girlfriend will always like put an extra juice box in her purse if I ask her to. No questions asked. I'm like, here, can you put this in your purse? Yes, of course. Puts it in her purse. No, like, oh, that's gonna be heavy. Like, no, if they ask you to carry like anything for their diabetes, whether it be a juice box or whatever it is, just carry it for them. Like, even if it makes your bag heavy, they have to do it for the rest of their lives. Like, let them just have a day where you carry their juice for them, you know? Simple things like that, just being supportive and just listen to them, be a place for them to vent and to cry and scream and be mad about it, and just to cope with living with it. Like, allow them the space to do so non-judgmentally. That was like a lot, but I just feel like I've been in a place where I didn't feel supported, and I have been in a place where I did feel supported with my type 1 diabetes, and it's a lot easier to carry the weight of living with a disease when your partner is supportive. So these are just some ideas of how you can do so. Next question is, what would you do if you were starting your channel from zero today? If we're talking YouTube, I wouldn't change much. I've kind of always done vlogs that were real and authentic and very me, and I love my vlogs, and I think it's really cool to look back on all my old vlogs, and I think my vlogs have stayed very consistently me just throughout the years. They've always had the same vibe, and I've gone through phases of like different editing or whatever it is, but it's always been me filming them, it's always been me editing them, and it's always just been me sharing my life. So with YouTube, I really don't think I would change anything. I think it's always me. I think I would have started linking products for you guys sooner, because I think that just is like a nice thing for me to do. It connects us, and I know that when I watch YouTube, like if a YouTuber links stuff, I just feel like I watch their stuff more because I feel included in their life. I just don't like gatekeepy influencers, so I try not to be that way, and so I think I wish I did that sooner. If we're talking TikTok, I think I wish that from the get-go I showed my personality more, because the thing about TikTok is kind of once you have an account take off with a certain type of video, it's sort of hard to stray away. People do it, but you have to be like kind of really awesome for like any video to do well. And for me personally, like from the start, my TikTok account has sort of been like relatable content, but not really vloggy style content, not really like me, just like relatable. And it's like relatable to things that are relevant to my life, but it's not really me. Like, I feel like my vlogs and my podcasts, like you can see my personality. But anytime I make a video like my vlogs on TikTok, it just doesn't really do as well. So I find that I sort of have to do like relatable content because that's what TikTok likes to see, and like dance content too. But I think if I started from zero, I would do more like vloggy style content, more like me talking like how my vlogs are. And I think that's what I would do differently. I also think I wish that I shared more fashion type things, which I still don't even do, but I'm like more into fashion nowadays, and I never really had been in the past. I mean, I had been, but I never like invested in it or invested time into it or anything in like making content like that. But I think I wish that I had, and now it's like I just feel like it's too late, even though it's not, but I feel like it wouldn't do well on my TikTok, so I like hold back from it. But like things like that, I think I wish I would have done from the get-go. But yeah, that's what I would change about TikTok. YouTube I wouldn't change. My podcast I wouldn't change. My podcast has also stayed very consistent. And Instagram I think has just grown with me as I've changed as a person. So also I don't think I would change anything there. Yeah. Next question is, how did you decide how much of your relationship you wanted to share? So I'm assuming this is talking about my new relationship. And I think obviously you guys know I had a very public past relationship as well as a very public breakup, and it was a lot. And as I reflected and healed not only on the breakup but also on the relationship, I realized that I don't know how to explain it, but so as I went into my new relationship, I had grown this mindset through healing and through reflecting, where like I was only going to share when it was authentic and made sense with my life. I feel like that doesn't make sense. But so like I vlog a lot of my life, right? And so naturally, once in a while, my girlfriend will be in the videos. But my vlogs are my life. So like it's from like my point of view, my perspective. So think of like my life as a book, and it's written in my point of view. You're not gonna get like a lot from the other characters. You're just gonna get like situational. So if my girlfriend is over my house and I'm vlogging, she might be in the vlogs because she's at my house as I'm vlogging. But I'm not like directly vlogging with her, if that makes sense. Or like the other day, we just posted a TikTok together for the first time. But we weren't like, ooh, like let's go make a TikTok together. We were in the bathroom at an event being silly because we were in a goofy mood, and we were like just making funny TikToks, and we were like, wait, this is funny, like I want to post this. And we posted it because we just like we're having fun together. We made the TikTok and we thought it was funny, and I posted it. Like it wasn't like, ooh, let's make like a couples video, or like let's make a video of us dancing. It was just like we made that funny TikTok, and I'm like, this is hilarious, I have to post it, like this is so funny. Or like Instagram, like if I did a dump and I had a cute photo of us and it was like a moment that like was special to me, like I'm gonna add it in my Instagram photo dump. Or like stories, like say we're at dinner, like I'm gonna post both of our plates, not to be like enigmatic and like, ooh, like who's my second person that's at dinner, but more just like I'm taking a picture of my table that I set for dinner, and I'm having dinner with my girlfriend tonight, so there's 2 plates. So it's more like, I don't know how, like I don't feel like I'm explaining it well, but I just share what authentically happens. So just as much as I'm like not actively hiding my relationship, I'm just also not actively putting my relationship out there. Like I share my life, and sometimes because my girlfriend is like a character in my life per se, she's around my content. But it's authentic, you know? Like it's not like, I don't know how to explain it. And I do though want to say, like, I don't think that my last relationship was not authentic. Like I think it was very real off camera. But I do just feel like I was like, oh, I don't know what to post today. Let's make a couples video. People love it. And it was like things like that. Even though it was real offline, it was still like, oh, we don't have anything to post. People love couple content. Let's make a couples video. But it like, does that make sense? Do you guys see the difference? Like, I don't know how else to explain it. I don't really have like a this can get shared, this cannot. It's just like if it's authentic and like makes sense to share, I share it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that doesn't really make sense, but I hope you're kind of like picking up what I'm putting down. Think about just like a non-influencer, like a random person. Like you're gonna sometimes have your partner in your stuff, but it's like your social media. So like it's mostly you, and then sometimes they're there. It's like the same kind of vibe. The only thing I don't share is like I just don't talk about like the details of our relationship. But like I also don't talk about the details of like me, Brie, and Maddie's relationship. Like we have a lot of private conversations and like things like that never get put online. Do you know what I'm talking about? I feel like that kind of makes sense. The next question is, what books do you recommend, or do you have a Goodreads? I do have a Goodreads. It's linked down below. I just started it recently, but if you guys haven't been following along, I started reading like this summer, and I've read so many books already, and I'm like on a big reading kick. So I have that all in my Goodreads, and as much as I want to give you guys like all my book info, I want to do a podcast episode on that. So stay tuned for my podcast episode. It's called Happy Human Club. It's linked down below in every video, but you can find it on, I think, every streaming platform, Happy Human Club. And I'm gonna do a whole episode about the books I read so far and like give a review and everything like that. But I will say, I just read The Only One Left by, I think it's either Riley Sager or Riley Sager. I don't know how to pronounce it. However, incredible book. It was like very plot twisty. It's a lot like Verity. It's like a similar vibe. So if you guys liked Verity by Colleen Hoover, you would like this book. And I flew through. I literally read it in less than a week, and that never happens for me. Like, I flew through it, and I'm like a big predictor. I'm really good at predicting what's gonna happen in books and movies and shows and things like that. And I always do it. And I always like ruin things for myself. And I was so sure I had done it, and it was nothing like I thought. So the end was just crazy. So definitely a plot twist book. It's like kind of like a psychological thriller type of thing. Really good. You guys must read. I think it's a really good book if you want to get into reading because it's super suspenseful. Highly recommend. The next question is about Mr. Augie Man. It is, what made you pick an Italian Greyhound, aka Augie? My love for Italian Greyhounds goes back years and years and years when I was a kid, and my sister used to watch Jenna Marbles, and so like I guess I would watch it too, but like my sister would watch it, so I would watch her. And she had Italian Greyhounds, and I remember just thinking they were so cute. My family had a dog back then. He was like a German Shepherd Husky, amazing dog. And when that dog passed, I really wanted another dog, and I remember I was driving in the car and somebody like drove past us with an Italian Greyhound sticking their head out the window, and I was like, that is the cutest dog I've ever seen. Like, they are so cute. So I decided I was gonna be obsessed with Italian Greyhounds and that I needed one. And that's how my brain works. Like, if I decide I want something, I need it and it's gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna make it happen. And so I think I was 18, maybe 19. I think I was 19. Or was I 18? I might have been 18, I don't know. But I can fully convince my parents to get an Italian Greyhound puppy, and I was gonna help with him and like take care of him as a puppy. Like, I did the whole convincing, and we drove to, what was it, Pennsylvania or something? No, it wasn't Rhode Island, it was further, Virginia. Was it Virginia? Wait, I actually have no idea. I forget where we drove, but it was like 10 hours away. And we drove and we picked up our family dog, Arlo, and I did like a lot of the taking care of when he was super young. Then I went off to college, so like he stayed with my parents and whatever, because I was living in a dorm. And I just loved him so much, and he loved me so much. Even now, like, I go home, he does this like cute crying thing, and he's just the best. And so I just loved him. And since I did take care of him, helped take care of him as a puppy, I felt like I knew the breed really well. And so when I was looking to get another dog, once I was like living on my own last year, immediately I was like, I want an Italian Greyhound because I know it super well, and I just am familiar with their behaviors, with training them. I'm just familiar with them, and I loved how Arlo was because he played a lot, but he was so cuddly, and he liked his walks, but he wasn't like insanely active or anything. Like, definitely was active, definitely liked to play, definitely liked his walks, but like also slept a ton, and just is like a really good, sweet dog. And he doesn't shed, and they're hypoallergenic, and I just really liked the breed, so I decided to get an Italian Greyhound, and zero regrets. Like, Augie is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's so annoying, but he's so good. He's like growing out of his puppy phase very quickly, it seems, though. It's like ever since he turned like right before he turned one back in August, he just like, he's settled down a bit, and he still is crazy like around other dogs and around kids. He loves kids, and he has like a couple hours every day where he's like so crazy, but he's amazing. Like, he is the perfect dog. He cuddles with me every night between my legs. Like, they call Italian Greyhounds Velcro dogs because they're always like Velcro to you. That's exactly how he is. He's always under a blanket or under a pillow or snuggled up directly in between you if you're with someone else. Like, always just so cuddly and just so comforting. I just love his sweet little face. So Italian Greyhounds are so sweet. Only thing is, they're notoriously known for being really hard to house train. I will say the Arlo at my parents' house is not house trained fully. he still goes inside and he's like 5. Augie is fully house trained and he's 1. So it really depends on the dog. But they are tricky to house train. But I will say Augie was still having accidents this summer, and he hasn't had one in months and months and months. But yeah, they can be very hard to house train, and I feel like the odds of you having an Italian Greyhound that's not fully house trained is probably high, but they can be house trained. Let Augie be your hope if that's like holding you back from getting one. I think they're the best dogs ever. Super, honestly, low maintenance dogs. He's great. Next question I feel like is very important. It says, can you do a jewelry tour or talk about your favorite places to shop for jewelry? However, I will say I'm not wearing my usual daily hoop earrings. I will put a picture up on the screen of what I normally wear in my first piercing. I will switch out, like I'll add like a cute necklace or something, or sometimes I'll switch out this first earring like I said, but for the most part I wear the same jewelry every day. I have like my go-tos. So like I said, the Jennifer Fisher hoops are usually my first whole piercing, but these ones I have in right now I just got sent from the Mid Kids. I'll link it down below as well, but they just sent them the other day and they're super cute, and they're like, it has like a blue, I think they're on backwards at the moment. I think I have to switch. I think they're on backwards, but I'm wearing this navy blue top, so I wanted to wear these earrings because they have like a little blue thing. In my second hole, I got these as a gift from my girlfriend for my birthday. They're David Yurman hoops. I'll link everything. And then in my third hole, these earrings are from Majuri, and they were originally a graduation gift from my parents. I've lost them like twice or like 3 times in my carpet in the bedroom of my old apartment, and I've had to repurchase a couple times, but I love them and I continue to repurchase them. And then this hoop up here I got at Gorjana. My nose hoop I got off Etsy, and I believe the shop like closed because I've been trying to find it and I can't find it any longer, but I just get like a super duper small gold hoop. I think it's could possibly even be a cartilage hoop. I'm not totally sure, but it's like a very, very small hoop, about probably the same size as this one here. And then over on this side, I have a tragus piercing, which the earring that I got, or the earring that's in it, I got from a place in Tampa. I will put the name on the screen because I forget what it was called, but I know I got it like in a vlog, but it's like just a local place in Tampa. And then my 2 new piercings are my conch and then this other cartilage piercing over here, and those are both from Studs because that's where I got them pierced. And then for my everyday necklace, I wear this cute dainty one from Orate, which me and my mom have matching ones. I got her and I matching ones, and it's the most perfect little delicate necklace. I love it. You can also put it on a longer, I almost said longer setting, but there's like a second little thing that you can make it go longer if you want, but I like it nice and short up here. And then for my bracelets, over here I always wear this David Yurman bracelet and then this Cartier bracelet. And then I, for the longest time, was wearing a bracelet over here from this place in Tampa, but I recently took it off just because I was kind of sick of it. And I have been wearing this bracelet that I got from Fossil in New York at their event, but it's too big on me and it always ends up being like this. So like this is always showing and like the pretty part isn't. So I want to get a different bracelet for this wrist, but I've been wearing this one from Fossil. And then for my rings, I get probably the most question about these. 1, because you can always see my hands, and 2, because I feel like my jewelry or like my rings are very bold, you know? Like I don't think, like the rest of my jewelry is very dainty and I always go for bold rings. I've always been a ring girl. Oh my God, my camera's like, shut up. I just ran out of storage. But I used to be a silver girl and I would always like have every finger filled up with a Pandora ring back in high school. But nowadays, I'm a gold girl, so I'm gonna go through my rings. So starting on this hand, this little screw one right here is from Cartier. This watch ring I get so many questions about. I just recently got it at the Fossil event in New York. So it's from Fossil and it's a real working watch. It's super cute. And then over on this finger, this big thick ring is Cartier, and this ring right here, I believe is Orate. If it's not Orate, it's Majuri. I'll try to find it and link it. And then over on this hand, right here, this is my Aura ring. I get a lot of questions about my Aura ring. It's when I post my sleep score on my Snapchat story, I get it from my Aura ring. So it's sort of like, think of it like a Apple Watch, but it's a ring. It tracks your sleep, it tracks your body temperature, it tracks your heartbeat, tracks your breathing, it tracks your activity. Like, it's really, really cool. It's very expensive, but so is an Apple Watch. Like, it's really cool. It's worth it if you're into things like that, like health and wellness. It also can do like period predictions. I love it. I think it's been worth the money. And it's cool because you can like make like a circle with other friends with Aura rings, and so you can see their sleep score and like their like readiness score and things like that, and it's just fun. But I wear that ring right here, and then on this finger I always wear this band right here. Is a family gift. It was my aunt's wedding band. Yes, wedding band. And then this one right here is from the Mid Kids. They just recently sent it when they sent me these earrings as well. And then lastly, this ring right here is a gift from my girlfriend as well that I got from, or that she got from David Yurman, that she gave me for my birthday. And I think that is all my jewelry. So my favorite places to shop for jewelry, like if we're talking just like a good piece of jewelry, not crazy expensive, but good quality, immediately I think of Gorjana. And I think of Majuri and Orate. Majuri and Orate are slightly more expensive than Gorjana, I believe. But those are the three. You can find cheaper-ish things on those those websites too. Or there's stores for Majuri and Gorjana. I don't think there's Orate stores. If there is, I'm not sure. But those ones are good. They have some cheaper options. Not everything is very, very, very expensive, but good quality. I will say though, my two favorite places to get jewelry are Cartier and David Yurman. Obviously, they're very expensive, and Orate for sure is just as good a quality, slightly less expensive. But I will say my favorite places are David Yurman and Cartier if I want like a real good piece of jewelry that's going to last me a lifetime. Those are my favorite places. But Orate, Majuri, and Gorjana for cheaper. Still not not cheap, but they're good quality for a good price, if that makes sense. Not quite as expensive as Cartier or David Yurman. But yeah, those are my favorite. I'm gonna end off the video with this question because I feel like it just kind of rounds everything out. I feel like I want to do more questions though. Like there was more questions I wanted to answer. I just don't feel like I really have time because I don't want this video to be too boring. So maybe I'll do a Q&A again soon. But the question is, what has been your biggest takeaway from life as you continue to grow? And I think I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I've shared that I've been struggling in life recently. And I find myself always, and this has been like my whole life, always missing the past, missing what has been. And I recently have found myself missing like last year as I was hurting really bad, post-breakup, post-diagnosis, feeling very lost and alone, living on my own. I was really sad. But lately I've been missing it because as I look back on life, I'm somebody who always forgets all the bad stuff that happened. Obviously not the trauma, but like I forget all the bad days. I know I had them, but what I really remember is all the friendships I made, all the amazing times and funny times I had, just everything that happened in the most raw months. Like I look back and I miss all the fun I had, which is ironic because as I was living it, I was so unhappy. But I look back and I miss it. So the biggest takeaway that I've been really learning like very, very recently is like, I have to just enjoy where I'm at, even when it's painful, because I'm learning as I keep growing, like I will miss it. Like I will, that's my personality. I miss what has been. I always miss the past. Nostalgia, I've talked about this before, but nostalgia is like a really icky feeling for me. It's not like, oh, I miss that. It's like, oh my God, I miss that. It's sad. Like Christmas music makes me feel sick. Like it makes me sad, but it also makes me happy because it's nostalgia. Like it's just so like, ow, like I miss it. But like I just nostalgia is like kind of painful for me is what I'm getting at. And it doesn't matter what it is. If I miss it, if I lived it, I miss it. And that's what I'm trying to really, really drill into my own brain recently. Like, it doesn't matter if life right now is hard, I'm going to miss it. Like, I'm gonna miss this first year I spent in LA. I have no idea what I'm doing at the end of this lease. Like, I don't know if I'm staying in LA. I don't know if I'm moving from this apartment. Like, I genuinely have no idea right now what I wanna do, but I'm just trying to appreciate like right now. These are the raw moments that are really painful as I live them, that are gonna be really painful to look back on in the future because I'm going to miss them. So I think that's the biggest takeaway, just appreciating life right now, where I'm at, no matter where I'm at, even if it's painful, just appreciating like the day that I'm living, because tomorrow it'll be in the past, and as time goes on, I will miss life at this point, and life never stops and the life never slows down. Like, I'm only going to continue to get older, and I will never be this young in this spot, in this place of my life ever again. And that's just really what I'm trying to keep in mind, and definitely my biggest takeaway from life so far. Anyways, I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I really, really liked filming this. I think it's really fun to check in every once in a while and just sort of say hello and answer some of your questions. And yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and make sure you guys follow me on all my other social media. It's always linked down below, including my Goodreads, my podcast, all that. But I love you all, and I will see you so super soon in the next video. Bye.